Good evening. For those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Giovanni. I'm the Chief Executive Officer for the British Martial Arts and Boxing Association, and this is an update on the coronavirus crisis as it develops in the UK, and specifically its mark on the UK martial arts sector and the martial arts clubs and instructors that we represent. Events have moved fast, and it's moved so fast that an earlier recording we did this morning when the office was staffed, it was actually already out of date. We've been keeping abreast of developments and trying to update all of our instructors and clubs as quickly as possible via our dedicated coronavirus contingency planning section within My BMABA. If you haven't already logged in as an instructor or club, go to My BMABA and look for the red coronavirus button at the top. You'll find all of our guidance, press releases, updates, and best practice around dealing with coronavirus. I'm not going to address right now the issue of whether or not your martial arts club should remain open. That is clearly a very complex matter that's going to vary from club to club, style to style, and location to location. What I want to get out there now, whilst with Boris Johnson's words still ringing in our ears that the schools in the UK will be closed from Friday for potentially 6 months, all the way through to September, is a contingency for the martial arts community and the martial arts industry as a whole. We are behind you. We know the impact this is having on your businesses. It's having the same impact on our organisation as is on tens of thousands and frankly millions of businesses across the UK right now. To touch firstly, before we go on to what you want to hear about, which is your club and how you're going to be impacted, just to let you know, as an organisation, our West Sussex office here, our operations office, is still open for the time being. It's looking increasingly likely we're going to have to shut this in the coming days. Our London office is closed at the moment, but we have a full contingency in place. Our operations team have all the access they need remotely to all the systems they need to be able to get into to do all the usual things you need them to do. That's insurance, students, registrations, queries, all that sort of stuff. Our committee are on hand and still assisting in all the technical matters we need them to be able to do so remotely. We have the phones still active and routing through to the people it needs to go to. Emails have been answered. There's no concern around the way we're going to be operating throughout the coronavirus issue. We have sufficient liquidity in our organisation. We're obviously self-funded. We don't have any backing from Sport England or the National Lottery or anyone like that, but we have sufficient funds in the organisation to see us through this for as long as it takes. So as an organisation, you can lean on us if you need to right now. That's what we're here to do, to support you and prop you up. We are going to be here. We're going to ask clubs and instructors to try and hold off calling us on the office number if you can, because it does tie up resources, and obviously right now we're getting asked the same questions quite often. Today the phone rang non-stop, so we're going to ask you if you can to refrain from calling the office. But we are there to help on Facebook Messenger, emails, text, all the usual mechanisms and methods you'd expect us to be able to do so on. And really to touch on you and your club and the impact this is having, we have broadly 3 sectors of clubs. We have what we call the ungraded clubs. These are the voluntary clubs, the clubs that run just to sort of hit their costs and nothing more. These are the clubs we know are already shutting down right now because they don't make profit and it's not worth them staying open, and they're sort of already saying, well, this isn't worth continuing. We have the middle of the grading spectrum, and these are the clubs where the instructor or instructors don't do it for a full-time income, but it still does form some of their income. And these represent the majority of clubs in the UK. You might call them part-time clubs. For these clubs, we know and understand that this is going to form some major concern for your cash flow and your income and your ability to run your classes. And then, of course, we have at the far end of the spectrum, the bigger clubs that do this for a living. This is full-time, they have staff, wages, etc. to cover, dojos of their own, whatever it might be. We represent up to 30,000 registered members in the UK at the moment, and the true on-the-mat reaches is more than 100,000 people. So we have a responsibility to you right now to try and guide you through this as best we can. Obviously, the situation is evolving very quickly. We've been on top of it since Monday, but obviously it's changed again, and it keeps evolving. And what we've been waiting for is this sort of watershed moment in which the schools close. Now, there was some talk it would hold off indefinitely, that we might be able to get through to the Easter holidays. Obviously, after tonight's announcement, the time being 7:30 on Wednesday, the 18th of March, 2020, after tonight's announcements by the government, schools will be closing across the UK from Friday onwards, and they're unlikely to be opening for many, many months. A number of you have already been in touch to say you've had venues and bookings cancel on you, whether that is schools or private venues because of coronavirus. Others are asking what you should do. On this particular vlog, I'm not going to go into the minutiae detail of whether you should still be running your martial arts club. Clearly, you should be following government guidance on social distancing and doing everything you can as a citizen to try and help prevent the spread of coronavirus. That's an obligation, a moral obligation we all have. The sooner this is done, the sooner we can get back to normality. But at the same time, we don't want to tell you to shut your club if there's a safe way for you to continue training. And this is an assessment and a risk assessment and obviously a process and a thought process you're going to have to reach at club level, because we can't possibly make a determination for every single club. There's too many of you doing too many different styles in too many different settings in different ways for us to give you a blanket approach. So all the tools and mechanisms you need to make those assessments are available in My BMABA under the Coronavirus Strategic Action Planning section. It's the big red button at the top which says Coronavirus. We've got pre-packed student press releases ready for you to go to help inform your members of what's happening in the UK at the moment. We've got your cash flow and your crisis management documents ready to go to help you if you find financial duress. But I want to focus on two key things right now, and this is the immediate response to the news announced this evening. Schools closing and the recognition that for many clubs in the country, this is going to form a juncture at which you're probably going to end up shutting your classes or certainly disrupting the schedule you have. We know this is going to impose huge cash flow problems for so many clubs. This is compounded for those of you who do it for a living by the fact that this is your sole living and that's now been impeded completely. And for those of you who do it part-time, we know that you're facing enormous strain and pressure economically, socially and personally in your own private lives, and that's going to impact on the way in which you can run your martial arts clubs. Right now, as a martial arts industry, we need good governance and good leadership. Unfortunately, we haven't had any collaborative approach just yet, and we've left the door open, and we continue to leave the door open for other governing bodies that want to talk and want to work together to try and help clubs to speak with us. But at the moment, as we're not having much of a reception, we're going to push on in our own direction with our clubs and members. And what we're going to do here is we're going to focus on trying to support, trying to prop up the industry for the next 3 to 6 months. Now, this is a massive task. We know that martial arts industry accounts for millions of pounds of GDP every year, and we can't keep everybody afloat at once. But what we have done immediately, as of this evening, effective immediately, is introduce a range of subsidies and funding to try and cut down on costs for our clubs and instructors. What we're saying to clubs tonight is there will be a sunrise at the other end of this darkness. There will be a point at which the restrictions lift, your classes will resume, and actually people who have been in confinement or people who have been locked up in their houses for 3 months are going to be desperate to get out and get into a fitness class and learn martial arts and get back to it again. Parents are going to be going back to work and looking forward to putting the kids back into whatever forms of training that is at school or after school and everything else. So this is temporary. You must dig in here and show some resilience in your mind. This is a temporary measure, and we have to be ready to react and to jump back into the game again when this resolves. In the interim, we implore you to try your best to keep up to date with things like insurance, membership, licensing, safeguarding. If you have downtime as a club, now is the time to be doing your business planning, your safety assessments, your safeguarding policies. It's your time to be building your club website and making it look fantastic, ready for the new market. Your chance to look at your syllabus, all the things that are hard to do when you're busy juggling so many things in life. Your downtime now is the time to get your business, to get your club set up, ready to go. So when the doors open again and you can start welcoming the students, you can hit it hard and you can get back to where you are and you can honour those student grades and honour the legacy you owe to your students, which is to continue their journey through martial arts and help them grade. Now, effective immediately, we've put into place tens of thousands of pounds worth of subsidies to cut down on the costs of insurance and memberships and licensing. We've got larger grants and funding available for the registered charities and not-for-profits with us. We've got a range of subsidies and support available to everybody, new or renewing, regardless of where you are in the cycle. We'll help you, we'll support you. We will help keep your costs down to an absolute minimum. We're bringing in provisions and resources and tools free of charge to try and help you in other aspects like prepping for your relaunch, things like web hosting, web design, all that sort of stuff. And we're going to try and do everything we can to keep the momentum on you, to keep you informed throughout the process so you can get through this. We're going to buckle down, we're going to do the best we can to keep our clubs engaged, to keep our students retained, so when this lifts, we can crack on. Now, the main reason I wanted to put this video out tonight rather than ask the team to do a text post is because we don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. Time and events are moving so quickly that we have to react just as fast. I'm very pleased to announce today our insurers signed off on conditions and exceptions that will allow our instructors to run remote training sessions. This is going to allow you to effectively run classes, sessions, lessons, one-to-one or one-to-group remotely over the internet. We know our industry lacks in technology, and that's again why we're pleased to say we have now got in place provisional prototype technology that will allow you to run both live lessons, as in you are physically delivering a live session with your students on video link, performing techniques back to you, and also the technology for you to do pre-recorded lessons where you can upload techniques, drills, or full lessons for your students to practice, and you can either let them do it themselves and you can review them when you next get the chance, or you can ask them to send you back video submissions and you can critique it. This is obviously an interim measure. It's not ideal. It falls far short of a full commercially viable business model, but for the next few months, it should allow some of our clubs to retain those students, to help your senior grades continue practicing, and to keep your martial arts club fresh and active. Now, we've got a huge amount of work to do because we're going to be launching this within a week. Within a week, we're going to make sure every single BMABA member has the ability to run online training sessions to your members. And that involves us making sure the insurance is covered, and we're going to fully fund any changes needed to the insurance to make sure you're insured to run those lessons. We're going to put together all the risk assessments and policy you need, the disclaimers, the assumption of risk forms, the legal considerations in terms of asking someone to do this, the GDPR matters, all the policy, the toolkit around being able to deliver these sessions we're going to do for you. We're going to make it available so you can take it, tweak it, and deliver it straight away without having to do it yourself. We're also putting together tonight a huge amount of resources to put together websites and web modules that's going to allow you to host these videos. Now, this is a hugely complex task. We're talking about 30,000 members of our clubs. We're talking 3,000 plus instructors, clubs, coaches, etc. And we just don't know quite where the demand's going to come from and what we're going to be preferring as a community. We're sort of firing blind here. So we need our community to tell us now, what do you want? Do you want us to focus on live lessons so you can do live lessons as you delivering sessions to another student, whether that is that you prefer to do for your one-to-ones or for your groups, or do you want us to focus on helping you deliver pre-recorded lessons for broadcast? We want to help you put together lessons and deliver it online. We can help you either host it directly, we can put it together and give you a login so you go and do it straight away through our systems, or we can point you towards doing it independently from your own websites and your own systems. We're toying around with the ideas here. Obviously, timing is of the essence here because we don't want you to let the momentum stop on your business. So I'm imploring our instructors and clubs tonight to get into My BMBA, go to the coronavirus action or strategy section, go to the forum there and tell us what you need. We will jump as high as you need us. You have joined an association. We're here to support you. This is our job. This is what we do. And we're fully ready with the resources to do that effectively. So the funding will be going live at midnight tonight. Anyone renewing or joining the association will be able to access vastly discounted insurances, memberships, licensing, safeguarding qualifications, etc. If you're an existing member and you want to take this time to try and refresh your club and get ready to come back at it hard again, whether you're sort of keeping it ticking over or you're trying to run it fully or you're not running it at all, we're going to help you if you're doing it now to get your club ready to go again in whenever it might be, May, June, July, August, September. We're going to keep everyone updated on developments with coronavirus and how it affects our industry. So the moment you're ready to, or we're able to, as a society, we can get you back into the dojo and back up on your feet. As this coronavirus pandemic develops, we're going to up the funding available, and we're going to keep doing that. We're in talks with banks and major funds and shareholders about how we can possibly make more money and perhaps even cash grants available to our members, but I'm going to stop short on promising anything I can't deliver right now because things are moving very, very quickly. But for now, I want to remind and just really reinforce to our clubs, we are here, we're not going anywhere. If you need us, we will help. Emails might take a day or two longer than normal. Students might take a day or two longer than normal. It's going to be a bit of a muddle getting through the sort of technical side of this because we have a huge amount of operational capacity to keep up on top of the extra resources we're putting into coronavirus. But we will do it. We will jump to the occasion. We'll rise to it and we'll achieve it for you guys. We need you to work with us now and tell us what you need to survive the next 3 months. And like I say, just to reiterate, we know this is a huge economic push for everybody. We obviously wish you and your families well during the coronavirus outbreak itself in terms of your health. We know that's a huge play on your minds in itself, but just addressing the economic bit, the thing we can address at the moment, we're going to support the UK Martial Arts Network. As an association, we've got loads in the pipeline, really big developments to help you build bigger, credible clubs. These are things that you would have expected to have seen without the coronavirus ticking over as usual. We're not going to put them on the back burner. We're going to launch them anyway, so you've got access to the latest provisions and services. We're going to beef up your membership anyway to make sure the money you've already paid or you continue to pay goes towards the right places. And in return, we just need a line of communication with our instructors. We need everybody to act like leaders and to take the right responsible steps to keep the public safe. If you're teaching and you think it's safe to continue, we'll help you and we'll support you as best we can. If you shut up shop for the time being or you want to move to remote online training, we'll absolutely support that as well. But I'm confident as a community now we can pull through this. And on the flip side of this coronavirus, when it resolves, when it lifts, when we go back to something that resembles normality, normal life, there will be a huge boost in our industry, similar to the one we see in January, but larger, of willing new students and existing students returning to us. And I implore you to make sure you're ready for that. Don't go to sleep on this and hibernate your club and miss your chance to jump straight back into where you were when this is over. There's a huge amount of work for you to do. There's a huge amount of work for us to do, but we're going to keep the dialogue lines open. We're going to have daily briefings with all of you to keep you abreast of this. For your students right now, we've got press releases. Every time we bring them to you, they're out of date. I did a vlog, a slightly more professional, not so haphazard vlog for your students earlier today, but it's already out of date. So we'll do something else for them tomorrow to let them know. And we're going to push forward to the launch of the student portal as well. We're going to put £6,000 into overnight into getting that student portal live tomorrow, so we can get direct messages to your students and we can retain and engage them for you, especially if you're offline. So your key message tonight is to make sure your lines of communication are open as a club. Make sure your website's online and up to date. Get relevant information up there. If you're cancelling classes, let people know. Make sure your newsletters are up to date. If you're doing newsletters, get your social media up there. Get Facebook, get Instagram, get Twitter. Tell your members where you are. Let them know if you're running classes. Let them know if you're not running classes. We will help you in every way we can. This is going to be a big group effort. It's probably the biggest challenge that's ever hit the UK Martial Arts Network, but I'm confident our industry can use this as a pivot point to professionalise, to refresh, and to come out the other end stronger than it was when we went into it. We will have the video provisions live and ready for you at the latest by the 1st of April. We're going to try and have it live by the end of next week. We just need some feedback from our communities in terms of what you want. We're testing as you speak. I'm in the office now. Obviously, I'm in here alone at the moment because we can't have more than one of us in here at the moment. We're sort of having to sort of do skeleton staffing, but you'll be getting emails remotely from the rest of the operations team, the senior committees, the executive team, etc., into the night and again early morning. So don't be alarmed if you're hearing from us at midnight. We're trying to work 7 days a week at the moment to make sure the day-to-day keeps running. But on top of that, we build capacity to fund the differences you guys need. Subsidies are at hand. If you're struggling, let us know. If you're circling the drain, let us know. Dig in. Expect this to last for at least 3 months. It might be better than that. It could be slightly longer, but we will keep you all briefed. Thank you very much.